Hi, we've got some problems in America and around the world, and I do think we can fix some of those problems if we want to. If we want to fix those problems, one of the biggest thing, in my opinion, that has been causing problems globally for years is religion. And discrimination. One set of people thinking that they're better than the other. One set of people thinking that they're God's chosen people and everybody else is going to hell. And one set of people thinking that we should unalive everyone else who don't believe in what we believe in. Recently, some of the most powerful countries has been moving in a religious direction that is hurting more marginalized groups of people. For example, the United States. The United States was founded on religious freedom, right? Um, and now, for some reason, they're saying that we were founded on Christian principles. But there's a lot of confusion because they gave Israel a piece of land in 1945, and now that's a Jewish state. Now, I have no problem with Jews. I was raised Christian, evangelical, but I do believe that I'm a Jew myself. If we stop religious hate and stop pushing religion on other people, allow people to believe in what they believe in, and allow people not to believe in anything. That's their choice. That will stop some of the global conflicts that we're seeing, right? Um, Especially when it comes to Christianity and Muslim, because you don't see any religious wars being fought in China. And that's one of the reasons why China and Russia, even though there's a proxy war being fought in Russia right now, you don't see, well, let me put it this way: China is growing past every other country in the world because there's no conflict there, and there has been no conflict in China for decades, right? America has been fighting wars since I know myself, and wars cannot be won, right? When we had the first balanced budget in the 90s with Bill Clinton, we weren't in as much wars. We had assets in other countries, but we weren't fighting huge wars. And now we're finding ourselves behind and seeing that China is unstoppable. We're trying to fight more wars for natural resources, and we're only gonna lose more resources, right? I think we should just accept where we are and join hands with the Chinese, and we will fare better off, just like the British. After World War II, they just fade off the global dominance scale and allow the United States to lead. The United States should now just fade off and allow China to lead, because if we fight, we have a lot more to lose, right? The other problem that I think we have is donors. Donors in our political system. We need to find a way to get rid of donors in our political system. Because what is essentially happening is that people are they're purchasing a spot at the table. Right? So the person who think that they're voting for healthcare or voting for cheaper grocery prices, they're not really gonna get that, because the donors own those companies. They own the pharmaceutical companies. They own the healthcare systems. They own the manufacturing companies. So the politician comes out and say, I'm gonna make your groceries cheaper. I'm gonna make your healthcare cheaper. But the donors that he have are the people who own those companies. When he get into power, I'm saying he because we still haven't had a female president. When he get into power, he gonna have to do something for those donors. They're more important to him than we are. So we're thinking that we're choosing our leaders. We're not. Because when they get into power, they gerrymander districts. So even if you don't like the policies that they're voting on, you don't have a choice, right? They gerrymander the districts so they choose who vote for them. That's why you can have a place like Texas that have like 65% minorities, but when you look at the leadership, there's just a few minority leaders there, and they're trying to get rid of those as well. That's why we have a failing system. When I look at it, the last election cycle, the choice was between two old men. One who tried to destroy democracy, didn't want to leave the White House. One of the worst thing he could have done is cast doubt in the United States election system, and he's still doing that. So he have 30% of the people still believing that there are people who are stealing elections. And that's a tough place to be in when you have people in your country who will believe that the elites are stealing elections. But the choice was between two men, two old white men, almost 80 years old. That's the best we have to offer. One was talking about how sleepy the other one was and that he didn't know what he was doing. And now we have that one in office who's sleeping in his own press conference. Come on, man. Come on. Are you telling me that we can't do better than that? We can't do better than Joe Biden? We can't do better than Donald Trump? If we allow these billionaires to keep buying our elections, the system is gonna totally fail. Because the billionaires alone can't run the economy. When you destroy the middle class and they can't buy homes and they can't go to college and they can't feed their kids, the system will fail. We need to have more cooperation globally. All this tariff nonsense, talking about how much billions you're taking in on tariffs. Are those billions coming from overseas, or is it coming from right fucking here in America? Nobody is asking that question. When he talk about how much billion he's taking in from tariff, nobody's asking the question. Where's that money coming from? It's coming from us. We're paying that money. Do you think the Chinese are giving him some money? Or the Brazilians or the South Africans are giving him some money? No. We pay more for that goods. Do you think because the other countries complain about the tariffs, it's because they're gonna pay more? No. They don't pay more. We pay more. And when I look at how cheap and how good those BYD electric cars are in China, we put over 100% customs duty on those cars so they can't come here. Is our cars cheaper here? No. Our manufacturers want it that way so they can sell us their crappy pieces of a car, gas guzzlers for $100,000. Right? The next problem is wars. There are wars ticking up everywhere around the globe right now, and we have this dude in the White House talking about how he ended 9 wars. What 9 fucking wars? Thousands of people are being killed in Sudan every day. Cambodia, Taiwan, Nam, not Taiwan. Several places around the world, there are conflicts. And he ran on getting us out of conflicts. And we're dropping bombs in Yemen, Somalia, blowing fishing boats out of the water in the Caribbean. Caribbean fishermen are afraid to go fishing so they can't feed their families because a lot of them went out there to fish and they didn't go. They could go home because they were blown out of the water. We were so cruel that we even double taps to end the survivors. We cannot survive if we keep doing that. We don't have the resources to keep doing that. China caught up and they passed us, and they don't have any conflicts to defend, and they have a bigger military than we do right now. And we're fighting war in Gaza, we're fighting war in Iran, we're fighting war in Ukraine. We got pockets in Africa. We just got service members being killed in Syria. We cannot sustain all that. So again, I'll say, let people worship whoever they want to worship. Don't force it on no one. Stop paying for religious wars. Stop using our tax dollars for religious wars. Stop hating people for what they look like and what they believe in. Because in the end, you're going to need all of us. And if you keep going down the road that you're going down right now, you're going to need all of us. You see the evil and the cruelty that is being pushed to deport people. Americans, not too far from now, might be the refugees trying to run to Mexico. Not too long, not too far from now. Mexico don't have any conflict. And China and Russia are circling America. Russia just put missiles in Cuba, something that we could have stopped in the 60s. Now we can't because we have an idiot in the White House. And they offer missiles to Mexico as well. We don't know what they have in Venezuela. This couldn't have happened in the 60s. I don't know, man. But there's a lot going on.